I'm joined by the beautiful and amazing Mayra Hidalgo Salazar. Next up, let's welcome Mayra Hidalgo Salazar. Yeah, I know she looks familiar. She was actually on the very first FayWhat show. Mayra is the Deputy Executive Director of the National LGBTQ Task Force, an organization that advances full freedom, justice, and equality for LGBTQ plus people. Originally an undocumented immigrant from Costa Rica, she has become an integral part of the community. In 2010, at age 17, Mayra served as a campaign manager for the Trail of Dreams, a walk for immigrant justice from Miami to the nation's capital that demanded then President Obama stop deportations. She has continued the fight for equality for immigrants and minorities ever since and has been kicking ass all the way. Welcome back, Miss Mayra. How are you, mamita?
Oh my God, I'm so good. I'm a little sleepy.
I know.
So
Well,
this
it is
perfect.
You know, it is early in the morning. I tried to give her a double cortadito, which all you people know from Miami is like crack.
I need
And
4.
it's helped a little, and that's what she asked. She asked for 2 more, so
Yeah.
like a good Latina. I want more. Never enough.
I just
never
don't
enough.
feel the 2. I'm just like, that's the warm up.
That's the pregame when it comes to a real Latina with some coffee. Oh my God. So Mayra, I haven't seen you in a while, Mama. Our first FayWhat show was back in January, and you and the beautiful Miss Kira Johnson were with us bright and early in the morning, and we tackled a lot of stuff, man. That was like when Chappelle was really in the
It
news.
was a roller coaster of an interview.
Oh my God, we cried, we laughed.
It really was.
Like, it was like, this is a lot of emotions into it, you know, it's just as girls, it was supposed to be like fun. Let's talk about shoes and freaking,
I'm a Cancer.
and nail polish.
I'm a Cancer. I'm a Cancerian.
And we went all out on it. And now you're back. When I found out that you were going to be in town working on Queer the Vote, which is, we'll get to in a second, I was like, girl, you got to come. And where else did I see you? I saw you at the LGBTQ plus task force kickoff, also in Miami, looking beautiful and svelte.
Thank you.
If you go to my social media pages, I took like about 843 pictures with Mayra.
Me bañé.
But she looked beautiful, and I needed some extra pictures. That's all, you know. So I knew that I needed to get you back on the show. God, so much going on right now. I mean, so much going on, and so much coming at us. You know, all these anti-trans bills. You know, our governor. Like, I have to say that you're kind of local. You don't live here, but your family is down here, so you know all the crap that our governor has been putting us through, and you feel our pain.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I'm between Brooklyn and Florida recently, and I grew up in Florida. This is where I learned how to organize.
Yeah.
I grew up in Polk County, Florida, which is in between Orlando and Tampa.
Isn't that very Trumper
It is
area?
the boonies. Oh yeah, it's Trump area, and I think a lot of this national rhetoric, right, that became that occupied the national stage, during Trump's presidency. Like, I grew up around people who, like, where that was the conditions I organized through, right?
Yeah.
So I think, though the rhetoric will never stop being shocking, at least for me, like, I went to school with these people. I kind of know in many ways how they think, and I had to learn how to organize in that context.
But that was before, when you were learning to organize as a youngin', because you started freaking early. At 17, you were already like helping our community. God bless you. At 17, I was like, what are poppers? And so that was before, I think, Trump gave them permission to be out and proud in their own right of their hatred.
Yeah, and I mean, it was the biggest, to see so many people be in support of his policies. These are people that, sometimes would come after school to my house and work on like projects. And my mom was always, she's amazing. I call her Mayra, la original. I'm named after her.
Hi, the OG Mayra.
She's the OG. She was like, always welcomed them in her home, was always kind, make sure like they had food, and to like see on Facebook, these are like some of the people that voted for Trump. I was like, oh wow, like there is a huge disconnect. I think there has to be a huge disconnect between the world they're living and like the world I'm living in. And I think I'm always trying to figure out like, what is the bridge, and also like, what is the bridge I want to cross, and what is the bridge I want to burn down?
Oh my God. And sometimes
and
sometimes it's the same bridge. Sometimes it's like, let me get across the bridge and then burn that out, because the hatred of people has come to light in such a way, especially to our community.
It's super polarized right now. I think a lot of folks in our community are being rudely awakened. right? I think there's those of us who got very comfortable after marriage equality.
Yeah, no, there's many people that I told you privately that I've got friends that once equality, once our rights were given, they were like, "Ja, I'm
like,
done.
okay,
I don't have to do anymore."
And myself,
and it's not the case. Like,
it isn't. It's a fight that never stops. And you know, with the draft, with the leak, right? With that's signaling the gutting of Roe v. Wade. Like,
I thought that was untouchable. Like, how crazy is that? That I thought that was untouchable.
There's something, and I mean, there is something about SCOTUS, I think, in our own imaginary that just rings as like this like beacon of justice, and we're seeing every day that that's being like chipped at. And what the precedent, you know, that what precedent that represents for the SCOTUS wins that have given the LGBTQ community the protections we have is like really glaring.
Yeah.
I think these moments are like their litmus test, right?
Yeah.
For, you know, when someone's like, I'm not gonna punch you yet, but I'm gonna like,
let me see what you do.
Let me see what happens.
Let me see how far I can push you.
And I really hope it serves as like a moment of awakening for folks in our community.
I sure hope so. But you've been screaming this. Kathy Renna has been screaming this since the beginning of the year. Like, hey guys, no, I'm serious. They're coming for us. You know. President Biden has said, hey, they're coming for you. Your rights are next, you know? And that still doesn't waken some people to the reality that they're coming for us, you know? I don't want my wife to be my roommate.
Yep.
You know?
We don't want to go back.
We don't want to go backwards, but it sure feels like we are everywhere. Okay, LGBTQ plus is everywhere. We're so freaking fabulous that we're on all your TVs, we're in all your magazines, we're on all your social media, we're the TikTok people that you follow, we're the influencers that you love. Yet, we are up to lose our rights. Like, how is that even possible? It's Pride Month. We're everywhere. Every stupid ass organization has a rainbow on their logo right now. Yet, behind closed doors, they're giving millions of dollars to anti-LGBTQ plus organizations. What are we supposed to be doing, Mayra?
I mean, I think this is like the nuance of us being so highly visible, yet not exercising the political power we really should be exercising, right? Like, it's one thing for public opinion in the polls to be in support of access to abortion and support of LGBTQ people, and it's another thing for us to actually deliver a political punch that is reflective of that public opinion.
And the other side is not holding any punches. They're not holding back. They're using their numbers. They're playing dirty.
And they're going after children.
Yeah.
They're going after our babies, right?
Yeah. Like, I'm so afraid of when, you know, the new Trevor Project results come back out. Like, my heart breaks for those children that are in homes that they're not, you know, they're not living their true authentic self. And then they will turn on the news and it's like, Mommy, Daddy, why does everybody hate us? Why does everybody want us to be silent?
You know, there needs to be, there's so much wisdom, I think, in our movements. I mean, first of all, the LGBTQ movement is so intergenerational. And when I say that, it's just like we've had to build our own families. We've had to find our own mothers, some of us, our own fathers.
Yes.
We've had to find our own femtors and mentors. And I think it's like a moment where those of us who have like lived to be of a certain age, right? To really make sure we're showing up, right? A lot of our ways of being feel matter of fact because we're just living our life. And for like a young person, to see someone like that is like, I don't know, in a relationship, like has a home, has like somewhat of a normal life.
Stability,
that can, like,
family.
Yeah, that can breathe, I think, life into a lot of young people. And there's a lot for us to do in terms of making sure that all of us are being organized. And it doesn't always look like, you know, showing up to the marches, which if you can show up to the marches, show up to the marches. But the beautiful thing about organizing now is that everyone has a role, right? Whether it's donating, whether it's uplifting shows like FayWhat,
Thank you.
or making sure that like you're just in community with like younger queers who are feeling the darkness, the heaviness of this moment. I think all of those are concrete actions we can take, and of course voting. If you have the right to vote, please vote. Please vote.
So let's talk about Queer the Vote. I know that you were down here working on that. What's up with that? How can we spread that?
Absolutely. So, you know, the task force, we're driving Queer the Vote. On the national level, Florida is one of our target states, and then also focusing hyper focused on the counties of Polk and Hillsborough. We're really looking at some school board races there. We think it's going to be an important part of mitigating the harm around Don't Say Gay, and also also identifying where we can build that long-term political power, because all Floridians know that I-4 corridor is key, right? Especially when it comes not just for midterms, but for presidentials. And I'm like, how can we make sure all of these young folks who are being politicized in this moment, who are walking across the stage, like, you know, the same year Don't Say Gay was passed, that they're registered to vote, and that they are like, not just activated politically, but in community, right? Because that's always like, that has always been the medicine. I think that's gotten a lot of us through hard times, is being in community, making sure that we are having a space to like heal with other people that like love and accept us.
Not the easiest thing. It sounds easy, you know, love is love and all that, but it really, we need more of us representing us in positions. And that's hard. You know, somebody that I love and someone that you know also, Michelle Rayner, I love her. I mean, that bitch is a powerhouse. I mean, I don't mean to call her that in any way. Like, she is an incredible, strong, powerful woman. And, you know, when she talks, it's just like, yes, let's do this. When she dropped out of her race, I understood why.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, and my first thought was, coño, you know, like, damn it. Like, why are we're losing this phenomenal person? But I understood that there was no way that she was going to win. How do we tell somebody else that had maybe sees in the future of running that they can do it, that there is a possibility of winning?
There's a possibility of winning, and also like really expanding what our idea is of winning. Of course, we want to get our folks elected into office, and like, we have to understand that like, the change that it takes to get there may be 2 or 3 races, right?
Yeah.
It takes a long time.
And it takes a lot of money, though.
It takes money. It takes the ability to fundraise. And we're very lucky in that we do have people in our community who are in a position to give. Really, all of us should be giving in some way. And like, again, that's the place I talk about where everyone has a role, whether you're like a donor, like making a gift is a form of taking action, right?
Yeah.
And so what I would say is to like make sure that you're surrounding yourself by like folks in your community who are ready to like go all in with you, because none of us can do this alone.
No.
And there's folks, you know, I think I'm in a place where I feel very like all in. Like, I'm just like, tell me where I need to go, where I need to be, dispatch
And I'm
me,
there.
because the house is on fire.
Put me in, coach.
Do it.
If I knew anything about sports references, that was it. Put me in, coach. But you are
like,
doing
I'm
that.
not that kind of lesbian.
When, you know, when DACA was a thing, you were screaming from the highest mountains, like, come on.
DACA's 10-year anniversary or birthday was yesterday.
Oh, wow.
You know, and even before that, that was, oh my God, that was a policy that took over 10 years of organizing, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, also it was a victory in our movement that was led by undocumented LGBTQ young people.
Yep.
I don't think it's a coincidence
No,
that
it's
like
not.
the queer people within the undocumented youth movement were the ones pushing the envelope. We were the ones coming out of the shadows, not just as undocumented, but also as queer, at a time when immigration didn't even recognize same-sex marriage. I mean, think about the implications of that.
The courage.
Like, you're pretty much cutting off your...
You're putting
your
yourself
ability-
out there.
Yeah. 100%.
And then you get a Trumpster that wants to close, you know, send you back to your country that you've never even stepped.
That
you
I
know,
left
you were
when
up
I
for
was 6 months old.
Exactly.
Right?
You know. Oh my goodness.
And again, like, I think those moments are like testaments to like, I think the power of organizing, but what can't be lost is that it took time. It took a lot of people really coming together and taking risks. Like, oh my God, I remember those days, like getting on a bus to DC, not knowing where I was gonna sleep, not like, we were just in it.
Yeah.
Because like our current existence was unbearable. And what I don't want is for something like that to have to happen to LGBTQ people, for us to feel that urgency. Like, it's now.
Yeah. No, it is now.
now.
It is now. Why is it that we need to get like our arms cut off for us to go, okay, it's now. We have to do this. We have to align everything. Like, I mean, shit's scary right now, Mayra.
Folks are exhausted. Things are scary, and I think people have real fatigue from these past 2 years. I think there's a lot of folks that haven't wanted to like take their heads out of the sand. We haven't fully recovered from Trump, and like If we're not at the table, we're on the menu.
Wow. Did you hear that? I hope that they wrote that down at the bottom of the screen
It
because
is,
wow.
it is absolutely.
It's the truth though.
Yeah.
It's Pride Month. Anything different? Do you feel anything different from this Pride Month than from past Pride Month?
Biden just signed this executive order, and I was at the White House yesterday for the Pride event. I have to say I'm underwhelmed by the it's just lack of concrete action, right? I think absolutely the rhetoric has changed. I think even the fact that there's a Pride event at the White House this year. I mean, come on, it wasn't even.
Yeah. Melania was too busy, messing up all the roses to even think about Pride before.
Yeah, it wasn't even. And like when you look line by line at this executive order, I'm like, how is this actually transforming the lives of LGBTQ people in these states that are on fire?
Yeah.
How is this protecting trans kids and also their parents who are trying to show up as parents and affirm them?
What is it, the story that's been in the news lately about banning kids from drag shows?
Which is
I don't want to laugh because it's serious crap.
I mean,
it really is an attack.
Unfortunately, yeah.
But come on.
Like, drag queens, y'all just don't want to have fun. Like, I'm just convinced you just.
Drag queens have been at the forefront of anything fun and sad on LGBTQ from the beginning of time. That is just, Look, you can go to Hooters. Every once in a while, I like myself a good wing, right?
Yeah,
and
that's what we all go to Hooters
yeah,
for.
and
Their wings.
nothing to do with the fact that girl has a wonderful ass.
women.
Anyway, except that one time I went to one and they had pregnant women as servers. That was weird.
Some people
that was
are into
weird.
it.
And
some people
that's what I
like
thought. I go, some people like that. So go for yours. Hooters. Anyway, so I remember there was a time that I went to Hooters and a friend of mine brought their kid, around the same age as your nephew, adorable little Kevin. And it was his birthday. And these Hooters girls put him on a table with a chair, put 2 balloons as boobs down his shirt and made a big spectacle of him and rubbed their boobs all over this little kid. How is that okay?
And then you're out here banning drag queens.
Banning kids at a drag, if the parent wants to bring their kid wherever the parent wants to bring the kid, she should be allowed to. Obviously, within reason, you're not taking them to Ramrod. If you live down here in South Florida, Ramrod is a wonderful place where a lot of my gay boys enjoy. And there may be a hole here and there that you might not want to put your eye to. Okay. But seriously, I've got a wonderful friend and I interviewed her last week. Her name is Misty Eyes and she's a beautiful drag queen. And she does at My Hollywood Pride and other Pride, she will do a story hour. Mm-hmm. And she's dressed to the nine. I'm going to show you guys a picture at home. And all the kids are sitting around her while she's reading a wonderful book about inclusivity and being okay, being who you are.
Those kids just, it's not difficult to explain these things to children. I feel like the far right tries to formulate this narrative around it where you're confusing kids. My one of my best friends is a trans woman. She was gonna come visit me and I just talked to Kevin Cito. I'm like, okay, she's trans, and I explained to him what trans was, and I'm like, she's a trans woman, and he's like, oh, so she's a woman.
And that's it.
It was literally the end of the conversation.
And that was it. Look, I get, I get so many older people. Oh, I can't do the they them. You don't understand. It doesn't fit my grammar. As someone I'm Puerto Rican Colombian, my grammar sucks as it is, right?
Yeah.
But mind you, I have an 11-year-old, that's a kid of a good friend of mine, and the same thing. It was they go by they them pronouns. Okay, fine, pim. There was not even another question about it. We never had another conversation. It was just so done. Simple. It was all right.
So simple.
Listed and done. I was like, why can't adults get this then?
And I mean, and that just points, it's not a coincidence that they're going after young LGBTQ people. We're in a moment where LGBTQ people are coming out at younger and younger ages. This is a testament to, I think, the work the task force, the whole movement has done.
You have made it safer.
Raising visibility. And we've also shown the power we have at the polls, right? And influencing races that are marginal. Mm-hmm. So I think it's actually very strategic of the right to think of the best way to stomp this out is by attacking young LGBTQ people's sense of self, their self-esteem, their access to a community,
Their worth, yeah.
their self-worth. And I think it's, you know, it's really sad. And if you think about it, it's like, oh, this is actually because we've been winning, right? That they're coming at us with this, with these attacks. And, you know, all I have to say is that I think we're really going to have to go back to the basics as a movement, like basic organizing 101, starting
knocking on
with,
doors,
like, school board knocking on doors. And, you know, I know people in Florida, y'all never close down. You have no excuse not to knock on people's doors. Come on, you never.
None. Down here it was like, COVID what?
I'm like, don't come at. I know, you know.
Please.
Come on, this is our folks are on fire, and the reality is that Florida is an incubator for bad bills.
Oh my God.
Florida is an incubator for bad bills across the country, and what we allow to happen here doesn't just stay here.
Other people look at it and go, oh, if Florida did it, then we can do it too.
God. Or they're just like, you're from Florida.
Oh, you're from Florida. That's what they say a lot. You know, if people did, God, 2% of what you do, Mayra. I mean, because, you know, we'd be in a better place right now. You know, you do so much, and that's why they want you in so many places, because your little self is such a wonderful representation. She's little, but she talks very big.
I'm 4'11".
So understand, in bed, everybody's the same height. Yeah. 4'11", 5'11".
No, what is it? My toxic trait is that I forget I'm like 4'11". I literally forget I'm short, and I'm like, oh, what is it? Oh, this is.
But you know, no, but you're short, whatever. But your voice carries. Your voice is loud. Your voice makes an impact. People listen to you, Mayra, and I say thank you for that. You know, just next week, or no, at the end of this week, because this show is gonna, this show is the 20th. You are gonna be, you're gonna be talking at New York's Pride.
I know. Oh my God. The New York City Pride rally.
Which is, like, folks at home, you know, you guys have been to New York Pride. If you haven't, put it on your bucket list. It's like the #1 Pride. Is just, I've been to many prides in the US, and by far it is up there with the best. Chicago is up there too. Incredible stuff what they do. But yeah, you're going to be at the rally Friday. And are you ready? I mean, this rally is like attended, and especially this year, it's going to be
really
massive.
Excited. I'm so excited. I mean, Kathy Renna, honestly, shout out to Kathy Renna, lesbian legend.
For sure.
And she's really behind what made this happen. And I'm just so grateful, because I think, like, any space we get to speak to our larger community and really, I want to move something inside of them to not just think about Pride as like celebration that we like do once a month. Yeah. There's a real history to this. There's a protest to this. And also, like, what a huge opportunity for us to like reconvene and like think about the political power we have, not just in like voting, but like the joy we bring, the dancing, all of like the deliciousness. So I'm really excited, and I have to center myself for it, because it feels big. It feels like a big deal. It's a big deal.
I'm trying to minimize it, but it is big. Are you, like, when I saw you at the task force kickoff, I'm like, do you know what you're gonna say? You're like, I have a bullet point here and there, not really. I'm like, what? And then she sat there and did like a 5-minute PowerPoint presentation. I was just like, wow, blown away. So for this, you're gonna prepare a little.
Yes, I gotta prepare. I gotta put on makeup. I gotta, you know,
you don't look wonderful.
Yeah,
you don't look wonderful.
Thank you.
Task force is going to be coming in a couple of months. You know, what should we be doing for the task force, especially now more than ever?
Well, I think first thing is you need to visit our website and look for our Queer the Vote materials. Please, like, use our texting system. I can have FayWhat drop it here at the bottom. But join our texting system, because we're going to be hitting you up to take action, whether it's knocking on doors, whether it's donating.
If it's money, listen, you don't need that extra pair of shoes, or, you know, tell somebody else to buy the poppers next weekend.
And maybe you don't have to leave your house. Literally, if you just want to set aside your lunchtime for, this is the time I'm going to be making calls, because that's what we're going to need.
Yeah.
Right. And so visit our website, follow us on social media, and we'll make sure you're plugged in for Queer the Vote, because we can't do this alone.
We can't.
We can't do this alone. We need all of us, and we can't continue to allow these conversations to happen, like nothing about us without us, right?
Yeah.
So Join us.
Join us. Yeah, we will not be silenced. And we're viejas. Okay, we can deal with what's going on. But the kids, man, that's just not cool.
Yeah,
it just isn't. Myra, thank you for being in bed with me again.
You.
I mean, thank you for being in bed for the first time. That may be a fact. It might not be a fact. Myra, thank you for all you do, Mama. Listen, if we can clone you, that would be like incredible.
I'm trying to figure it out. Let me know, because I'm
see.
trying to
If you turn around and I cut a piece of your hair, don't be alarmed. It's just something I'm trying to work on with the santeras over in Hialeah.
For me.
We'll make it happen.
Please, I need all the help I can get. So.
Make sure that you come back on the show sometime.
I will.
Yes?
I will.
All right, Mayra Hidalgo Salazar. Incredible. She is one of the good guys. Make sure that you follow her on social media and help the LGBTQ plus National Task Force. They are out there fighting for us. And this year, man, we need all the help we can get. Okay, so get your shit right. Get your friends in line. Make sure everybody's registered to vote. If they need rides getting to vote, make it happen. Do whatever needs to be done because it's all hands on deck this year. For sure. Mayra, thank you, Mama.
Thank you.
So, did you enjoy the show? I know you did. So make sure to click subscribe so you won't miss any of the events, news, or interviews right here on the FayWhat show. Ring the bell at the bottom of the screen, right there, so you'll be alerted every time we're live. You can also click on the Happening Out Television Network logo so you can see all of the shows on the most diverse LGBTQ plus media network. Find out just what we're doing to bring the L and the G together right here on the FayWhat show. Get the week started with me.